Did you ever get to work with Jim Ross? Yes, Jim called a couple of my matches, and he called the match where I turned on Cena, to where it looked like we were kind of having our spiff at the time, and then Cena refused my help for a match, and when I came out to view the match, he waved me into the ring to help him, to where he held the wrestler, and I was going to clock him with my briefcase. So when I drew back to hit the wrestler ducked, and everybody saw that I had time to respond and knew he had ducked, and then I cranked up and knocked the shit out of Cena with it, and Jim Ross lost his fucking mind. So yeah, Jim called, I had 2 or 3 matches that Jim was involved in and was interviewed by him, and so yeah, so Jim and I have a history. Top 5 wrestling managers. Bobby Heenan, me, God, that's it. I don't know. Let me think on that. I guess Cornette, even though I had a top 10 list once and didn't put him in it. I guess you'd have to put him in there just for his mouth alone. But I think I'm the best at developing talent. And that's a shoot. When it comes to people most of the guys I got were from dirt. They had 5 to no matches before they got to me. So when it comes to developing talent, I think I was the best. As far as being entertaining on television, you can't argue with Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Cornette, Jimmy Hart. Of course, I'm always going to be loyal to the Southern guys, and I don't know how Downtown Bruno ever made it. So let's see, how many times have you done a dine and dash? Never, because I never had the guts to do it that way. I was always, I guess you would call it, semi-famous enough that if I wanted a meal for free, I could call them up and offer them some autographed pictures or DVDs or someone else's autographed pictures from when they were all here from WWE. I never really had to do that. And I haven't paid for a meal in a restaurant in probably 17 years. Either someone else was buying it or it was covered because I was a guest of the place to begin with. Even today, I've been retired for 5 years, but my son will tell you, we do not pay to go out and eat. That does not happen. So Gary Hart was the same. I never knew Gary Hart that well, met him a few times, but I did not know him that well. If you got healthy enough, would you get back manning? Guys, I'm pushing 60 years old. Some people have to know when to walk away. I would do a one-time match, especially with Jerry Lawler. Maybe something involving Cornette, but nothing on a permanent, everyday level. It's just ridiculous. There's enough young talent out there that surely, and plus they don't really hire managers that much anymore. If Brock Lesnar knew how to talk, Paul Heyman wouldn't have a job. Best manager of all time and best thing OVW had. Well, I guess my best manager of all time, I've already said that'd be Heenan. Best in OVW, I think it'd be hard to argue against me. Best thing OVW had. Guess it'd be John Cena. He made the most money out of all of us. Neither has Nova. I don't know. I must have missed an earlier question, and I will not even talk about that piece of shit here. Anybody that would wish me dead, the day that he wished me dead, the day I basically got out of the hospital because he swerved a Trump bet that he said we made. And then on Christmas Eve, he wrote Jimmy Cornette's wife and wished that I would die. So, fuck him. And that's the last we'll hear about him here today. Tracy Smothers stories. Tracy's a good guy, good Lord. There's a lot of stories about Tracy Smothers, all too long to get into here, but we are both mutual admirers of each other. Both of us are fond of each other. Tracy's a hell of a good guy, and he tells you how he stands. I meant that as that name I said I won't say, not paying for, oh, good God. No, he stole meals. He conned people into meals. People that didn't think they were paying for him paid for him. No one has ever thought I was paying for a meal, and they say, oh, Bolin, are you going to pay for your meal? No, you are. No, that fucking don't happen. You don't do that. And that's what he was known for, all over the fucking Northeast. So, like I said, I'm not going to talk about him anymore, even though I just did. But I didn't say his name. Was Bolin Services ever in any other promotions besides? No, not as Bolin Services, no. just as Kenny, Starmaker, Bolin, but never as a group. Let's see, how to get into running on the screen operation of a wrestling company. Nah, I got no desire to do that. It's like I tell everybody around here that's running shit wrestling organizations that want me to be a part of them. If I thought there was any money to be made in independent wrestling in the Louisville area, me and Cornette would be doing it. And the fact that we don't should tell people that two people that are as respected as me and Jimmy when it comes to wrestling, and we're not doing it, there's a reason for it. Respect for the business, respect for the way it used to be, and there's no fucking money to be made. And not without fucking the boys. There's no money to be made. Me and Jimmy might be able to make some money, but the talent who also deserves money wouldn't be able to make any, because there's just not enough to be made. So that's why we don't do it. That's part of the reason. Is Ian Rotten, is he the biggest shit and piece of shit in wrestling? Got to put him top 5 and number 1 in this area. He got banned from Kentucky for a reason. I got no use for him. And once I left, I said I'd never be back, and I didn't. And once I left OVW, I said I'd never be back, and I didn't. So I'm pretty good at keeping my word. I can honestly say I've had the best times in OVW when you and Cornette were there. Well, I appreciate that. But you won't be having those good times with me anymore. Cornette went back a few times, even though he said he wouldn't, but I kept my word. Lewis Johnston, I sent my buddy the clip of when you shooting on CM Punk on the Power. Oh, God. Yes, I'd love to hear that again. If you have that clip, send that to me. I think that was on Cornette's show. Cornette fucking loved that. So if you have that clip, send it to me. I'd love to hear what I said again. But I was talking about a Power Ranger and CM Punk and how bad that Power Ranger would whip Punk's ass. And which apparently I was right, by the way. So send me that clip to my Facebook inbox. I'd love to hear that again, because I forgot what all I said. But I know a lot of people like it. Let's see, David Goddell. Jim Ferguson, when the WWE goes down, who will fill the void? Maybe then the independents can rise again, because I don't think anybody else is strong enough to take over for WWE, and that includes ROH and TNA. So, but you know, there's enough monkeys in the closet that are ready to take Vince's job, such as Triple H, such as Stephanie, such as Shane, and I'm sure there's others in the wings we don't know about, that we'll keep that going. So the death of Vince or anybody else is not going to change much there. Might change the direction of the show a little bit, and hell, who knows, that might be for the better, because it may not be as stale. So, but no, there's no other company's going to take their place. Not in my lifetime. Who was your favorite valet? Nurse Lulu, Miss Blue, Sosei. I love Sosei, Lulu, God, but Sosei was not technically my valet. Lulu was, and Miss Blue, and Lulu wins that hands down. Lulu was great. I loved her. And a gorgeous little girl, too. Should have married her. Probably because she wouldn't marry me. Andy Griffith, my number 1 fan, gets in with 2 minutes to go. Way to go, Andy. Andy's bought a lot of merchandise from me. Beats by Bolin. You want to know how my headphones are? Write Andy Griffith and ask him. Paul RJ, would Lawler start up Memphis again? Would it be a force? Probably would. Not to the level that it once was, but anything Jerry Lawler does in Memphis is going to have a certain level of success, especially as long as he's been away from running wrestling. I'm going to have the gastric sleeve, it looks like, in 2 or 3 months. I wasn't going to do it, but I think if I want to lose the rest of the weight I need to lose in a decent amount of time, I don't really have any options. Was I upset about The Undertaker? No, it was time to go. It was time to go. I mean, I'm still not convinced we're never going to see him again, but, you know. But no, it was time. It was time. I don't like who he had to job out to, for damn sure, but apparently, you know, he didn't have a problem with it, or he wouldn't have done it. Can't remember if I asked, but figured out if Cameron's date to OVW was real yet. No. He still has not seen this girl's house. And this has been for like 4 months. So it's there you go. That's my answer. When is the last time you did anything wrestling related besides a podcast? Brady, one of the Bradys I deal with, Brady Hicks, or one of them Bradys, I did a show for in Southern Indiana where I did the commentary on their pay-per-view. And that is the last thing wrestling related I did, and that was a few years ago. And that was it, guys. Other than podcasts, that's it. Have you ever had a mullet? I would have to say no. Lawler has, but I haven't. Even though my hair has gotten a little long in the back, it was not mullet form. Let's see, you're trying to get these last questions. Rollins beating Taker was bullshit. I agree. But they're the ones that had to go along with it. Roman Reigns, no, I do not think Roman Reigns deserved to retire the Taker, but that wasn't my decision. It was something Vince McMahon's and the Taker's, or it wouldn't have happened.